Ahmed. I'm also happy to be here, and yeah, it's Jalsa, so I've revealed it for you, but yeah.
Okay. Food as well.
Good food, yeah, always.
Thank you.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Always.
I've always been interested in the God debate, science, Islam versus atheism. What is the scientific perspective? What is the atheist perspective, and what do we as Muslims say? Because Khalifa Rabi mentions him in Revelation Rationality. He kept talking about a guy called Professor Dawkins and his book The Blind Watchmaker. So in the God delusion, and I started flicking through it, and I was 16 years old, and to be honest, a lot of the stuff he was saying was making sense.
Ramzan Mubarak. Last year I attended the biggest yearly Islamic gathering in the UK, known as the Jalsa Salana. It seems like a relevant time to share the spiritual nature of the event, the extraordinary people I spoke to. Members take time off work and volunteer in a variety of ways, whether it's preparing food, guiding traffic, or hygiene and recycling of the site. Some serve by even performing speeches or poems on the stage of the main marquee, just like my childhood friend Tahir.
It goes like this. Nabiyon ka imam aaya.
Over the next couple of episodes, you'll see me talk to members about why they volunteer, God and atheism, science and the Holy Quran, Jesus traveling to India, how to make tea, amongst other topics. Stay tuned. This is the XP2.
The XP2, the Extraordinary People podcast. Just type that in on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Great content coming out. This around the world in 80 days. Around the world, doxing capes. Around the world, Marsak Bain. Around the world, we bathe in apes. Around the world, stay at home.
Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extraordinary People podcast. I'm here in where is this place? Alton.
Yes.
Alton, yeah. This looks like a big festival. Don't ever reveal what it is just yet, but introduce yourselves, boys. Let me know how you're doing. All of that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I'm Zanmir. I'm an Ahmadi Muslim. I'm happy to be here.
I'm Musam Niazi. I'm 28 years old, and yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm Richard Ahmed. I'm also happy to be here, and yeah, it's Jalsa, so I've revealed it for you, but yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough. Peace be upon all of you. So guys, talk me through this. There's obviously a big sort of festival sort of looking thing going on. There's a lot of people, a lot of different dress types. I myself have dressed slightly differently than maybe I normally would. Talk me through today.
Yeah, sure. So I think today is, coming. We're here at the International Jalsa, so there's people from all over.
What does Jalsa mean?
So it's a get-together it's a gathering of fellow Muslims to come together to strengthen their bonds and their spirituality together, and so that's what all this convention's about. Just whatever avenues are available here. There's exhibitions, there's speeches, and there's hundreds and some things going on.
Definitely, yeah, and also it's a big commitment from a lot of the guys that are volunteering as well. So I mean that sometimes goes missing. There's a lot of people here that have spent kind of weeks, probably months here on this site. So yeah, that goes to credit as well. So there's a lot of big kind of project that happens.
How about yourselves? How are you boys spending your time today?
We're just on break at the moment actually. We were just doing duty, came in, did our shift, and Nazim very kindly let us go. So we just enjoyed the bazaar.
What duty are you doing?
We're doing EMC, so any kind of report faults, we allocate them to the correct department.
Okay, cool. And there's a police van behind us. Is everything okay? You guys aren't causing any trouble?
No, of course not. We're well-behaved people, We're just here for a spiritual gathering. So, just having a good time. And we also invite other people to enjoy this type of gathering. It's not just open to Muslims, it's open to any member of the community. So if you're interested, reach out, feel free to come down.
Thank you so much for your time, boys. Any message that you'd like to give, to anyone? I don't have a huge following, but to anyone maybe watching, anybody in the world, anything that comes to your mind, you can say hi for all I care.
Yeah, no, I think definitely turn up. I think a lot of people kind of hesitate from not knowing what goes on in kind of gatherings. People have social anxiety and stuff, so I think it's best to turn up, and hopefully, you'll make a new friendship or you'll see some people that you know.
Good food as well.
Good food, yeah, always.
Jazakallah.
Thank you.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Always. Thank you, boys. Jazakallah. Yeah.
Moving on to our next stop, we go to Hamza, aka the Muslim Astronomers Tent. This is likely where all the science enthusiasts are gathered, and interesting discussions will be had. But first, I need to scope a place to film for the next day, and as you can see, it's pretty warm.
I'm here with Danish. How you doing?
Good, bro. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, pleasure to reconnect with you. I think I've seen you around probably in our youth. You're a doctor now, loads going on. We're here obviously at the Muslim Astronomers Tent, which we'll get into a little bit later. But Danish, just talk me through what you're up to nowadays and what's brought you to this tent specifically.
So I'm a cardiology doctor. I work in Newcastle, but obviously I've got like a science background doing medicine, but I've always been interested in the God debate, you know, science, Islam versus atheism. So I've always been interested in that since the age of like 16, you know, read a lot of authors like Richard Dawkins and all those people who kind of put a bit of doubt in my mind, and then I was over it, and you know, alhamdulillah, my faith increased. But you know, it's still prevalent in my mind always. What is the scientific perspective? What is the atheist perspective, and what do we as Muslims say? And then yeah, of course, I mean this marquee, brother Hamza, I know him, I've seen some of his stuff on Instagram. It was very relevant, so that's why I just come through.
I appreciate your honesty. I think it's important for people to say that it's not like a straight, like it's not like you just believe. Like you should question. You should always try and refine your opinions. What kind of books do you recall reading of like Dawkins, for example, or other such authors?
Mainly it was the obvious one, the God Delusion. I'd already heard of him through actually Khalifa Rabi, because Khalifa Rabi mentions him in Revelation Rationality. He kept talking about a guy called Professor Dawkins and his book The Blind Watchmaker. So I was like, I don't know who this dude is. And then eventually one day I was walking in Waterstones, and this is 3 years after Khalifa Rabi died. And then I've seen the God Delusion, and you know, I started flicking through it, and you know, I was 16 years old, and to be honest, a lot of the stuff he was saying was making sense. You know, and I understood his problems. And you know, the guy's an academic, a professor, a biologist at you know, Oxford University. He's no joke. So I was kind of mesmerized by what he was saying, and I didn't like it. And yeah, as I said, you know, I went on this journey to find rebuttals to what he had said. But yeah, that was the main book. And you know, I've heard of like the Selfish Gene, but a lot of it is mainly his stuff on YouTube that I've seen. Yeah.
I think my mum gave me a copy of Unweaving the Rainbow. She was also part of the team that did Revelations.
Your mum?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you about that off air or whatever. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it was also very interesting for me. Is the one that you read the same one where he talks about the monkeys with the typewriters? Does he give that example?
I know about that example, but I don't think he mentions it in there. No. Yeah. I mean, he talks about something called the anthropic principle, and he mentions that you know, everyone says that the Earth is very, you know, Goldilocks zone for life on Earth. You know, the sun is the right distance, and the Earth is the right temperature, and we have water, and etc. And then he says, well, hang on a minute, if we've got trillions and trillions of planets and stars, then surely you will find a place where it's nice. So it's these kind of things that he was saying that, you know, was kind of getting to me.
I think it's healthy to have, you know, to look at other arguments, of course, and that's one of the reasons I like discussing with people, because I don't think that one person is just entitled to their truth. I think we all have different shared experiences, and one of the things I like about science is that I could look at a bit of data, you could be from the same field and look at the same bit of data but come to a completely different conclusion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's encouraged about that's why critical thinking should be encouraged. One thing I would say is that, like, with this idea, I've also thought about it as we were talking about off air, that, you know, like, seems to be a lot of empty space, so on and so forth, but you could also look at it like glass half full, half empty sort of situation. So you could say, yeah, one of them would have to be, and it's like you're coming to a conclusion of, okay, you've given enough space and enough time, and so okay, yeah, cool, you have it, like a kind of a blasé approach. Or you could be like, yeah, we have it, this is that planet where everything went right. And then you could, you know, come to a certain set of, I don't know, principles to live by, ways of looking at the world on the basis of that. I don't think any side of that coin necessarily gives you absolute proof of anything. I don't know if you would agree with me or not on that, but
Yeah. I mean, I guess like that wouldn't be, you know, even if what Dawkins is saying is correct, you know, that wouldn't rule out God, because we've got other reasons, right, to believe in God. As you said as well when they're off air, like you know, it doesn't explain why the universe exists in the first place. Like, you can't come from zero to Big Bang. Like, you know, I think the Quran also says, I don't remember which verse, but that were they created from nothing?
yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, it's an interesting example, but yeah, you know, you have to keep working on it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I think so I mean, I like, okay, Dawkins he's had his glory days, and obviously he's a bit more just chilled out now with his YouTube channel, but there's other great scientists. One thing I think I said to you off air, and I'd be interested to get your point of view on, is the fact that if you think about it, a lot of atheists and so I did a geology degree, and when I spent time in academia, I quickly realized that the best scientists will tell you they don't actually know what they're talking about, because they're never sure entirely. They'll always give you a hypothesis and say, it could be this, it could be this, on the basis of our measurements it could be this, and they always give recommendations of how to improve those studies, so on and so forth. Sometimes there's very conflicting views on the same subject. So if scientists themselves are conflicted about something, usually the information that they disseminate to the public, we get like a filtered down bullet point version of it. Not to say that science communication is a whole field in itself, and so it's very possible that the same way we have blind belief in, people have blind belief in faith and stuff, there's also blind belief in science. I don't know if that's something that you've ever considered.
No, 100%, and I love what you said actually, because science is faith as well, right? As much as Dawkins and Sam Harris and all these people love to say that, look at science, this wonderful paradigm where, you know, it's all evidence-based and religion is all about faith, that is not the same. That's not actually true. People, the general public have faith in science, yeah? I'll give you an example, right? I'm a cardiologist. Let me tell you, you know, in cardiology there is a consensus that saturated fat is bad for you, and it will raise your cholesterol and it will give you a heart attack, okay? However, there are a couple fringe opinions which say that actually saturated fat is good for you and it won't raise your cholesterol, and even if it raises your cholesterol, it's not going to give you a heart attack. There are some fringe opinions. When I first came across this, I was mind blown. I was like, what? Someone is saying that saturated fat is good for you. Now, I actually reached out to my colleagues, right, who are cardiologists as well, and I said, what do you think of this guy who's saying that saturated fat isn't a problem and we don't need to be on cholesterol lowering drugs? What do you think of this guy? I thought they would have a rebuttal to these fringe opinions, because they're cardiologists, they're scientists, they would have an opinion. But they just displayed some faith. They were like, well, hang on a minute, well, you know, who is this guy? We've been saying for years, there's a consensus, a bit like your religious apologist would do. Do you see what I'm saying? He wasn't actually coming with a factual rebuttal. He was just saying, who is this man? We've known it. There's a consensus body, like, and I wasn't satisfied. And I realized that not just the public, but even academics within a particular field, they might not know the minutiae of a particular subject. They just think, oh, my colleagues have looked into it, he published a paper, I'll trust him. And that's when I thought, do you know what? We have to respect our deen and don't let these scientists say, you guys are faith-based.